land explored by our ancestors extends from the Altai to the White Sea. The scientific expedition Trails of Nomads continues to unveil the path of our forefathers. A group of scientists led by pilgrim of the 21st century, Sapari Skakov, has already visited more than 40 countries. Scientists reveal the exciting secrets of the past. Watch the amazing story of a great journey in the Trails of Nomads program. Today's Trails of Nomads episode presents Aiteke Bi is buried in Uzbekistan. Who discovered this? What kind of family ties does Aiteke Bi and Zhalantos Bahadur have? What is common between Emir Temir and great-grandfather of Aiteke Oraz? In the modern world, the flow of information is grown rapidly every day, and information can be different. It is important to be able to analyze it and choose the right source. And yet, a person can get lost in this large amount of information. It does not threaten the people to have a 1,000-year history, centuries-old traditions and customs. In addition, the prominent personalities of the Great Steppe left a valuable heritage and experience to future generations. They are the main object of research for the Trails of Nomads expedition team. Since 2016, a scientific expedition performing a research mission has visited many states of the world, including neighboring countries, Mongolia, Kyrgyzstan, Uzbekistan. Scientists have collected a lot of information in the first two states. As for Uzbekistan, there is still much to explore. In previous films, we talked about historical monuments of our ancestors in Tashkent, Bukhara, and Samarkand. The next stop of the expedition, participants, is Navoi region.
Uzbekistanda 1 миллион сыртында қазақтар тұрады. Оның ішінде Nurata ауданында 50 мың сыртында қазақтар тұрады.
More than 1 million Kazakhs live in Uzbekistan. Of them, more than 50,000 reside in Nurata district. There are approximately 50 schools in Navoi region, including 30 Kazakh ones. The Kazakhs living here preserved and continue to develop their customs and traditions.
Тұратын қазақтар өздерінің салттарын әлі күнге шейін сақтап келе жатыр.
In the east of Navoi region, there is the historical city of Nurata. People know many legends about this ancient settlement. According to one of them, the foundation of the city is connected with Alexander the Great. Ancient historical monuments speak about this. For example, mausoleum of the outstanding Kazakh Bi Aiteke. Members of the scientific expedition visited this memorable place and read a prayer.
Aiteke Bi кезінде
At the time, Aiteke Bi was a hakim of the city. There is a documentary evidence of this fact. It is also known that he gathered 100,000 army, maybe even more. That is, it was a permanent army. Four centuries ago, researchers found the burial place of Aiteke Bi. After providing all evidence, a large complex was built there with the support of Kazakh entrepreneurs. It consisted of a mausoleum, a mosque, a museum, and a hotel. The complex was named Seytkul Kaji Aiteke Bi. The ancestors of Aiteke Bi are also buried here.
Ғалымдарды алдырып аштырдық мазараттан. Тропол ғалымдарды Москвадан келді, Өзбекстанның ғалымдары келіп ашып,
With the help of anthropologists, we opened the grave. Moscow scientists came here. There were also Uzbek specialists. They conducted research on the remains and made a conclusion. These were the remains of a man who lived in the 17th century. He died between the ages of 50 and 60. Based on the analysis of all obtained data, specialists decided that this was indeed the burial of Aiteke Bi. He was born in 1644 and died in 1700 at the age of 56. It was decided to build a mausoleum here. The mausoleum was built according to the technology used in Emir Temir period. That is, nails and other materials similar to iron in reinforcement were not used. The facility was completely built of red brick. The building is decorated with oriental patterns. Windows and doors are made of walnut. The height of the mausoleum is 11 meters. The wall thickness is about 1.5 meters. Despite the fact that the mausoleum was erected in modern times, it gives the impression of the structure of the period when Aiteke Bi lived, the end of the 17th, beginning of the 18th centuries. Especially, a lot of foreign tourists come here. Next to the grave of Aiteke Bi, his ancestor Aiteke Oraz rests. He belonged to the Tortkara tribe of junior Jews. He lived in the 16th century and acted as the Bi of Khan of the younger Jews, Jadikuli Shigai. Thanks to his justice and righteousness, he was widely known not only among the Kazakhs but also Uzbeks, Kyrgyz, Karakalpaks, and Turkmen. He was recognized saint already during his lifetime.
Шейітқұлдан 9 бала туады, оның бір баласы Zhalantos бабамыз, бір баласы мынау Baubek.
Aiteke had 9 children. One of them was Zhalantos Bahadur. Other sons were Baubek, Aksha. Zhalantos Bahadur was born in 1576 and died in 1656. He ruled Samarkand over 30 years. At that time, there was the Bukhara Khanate, and Samarkand was part of it. He not only ruled Samarkand, but also served as commander of the troops of the Bukhara state. One of the sons of Aiteke Oraz was Aksha, who had a son, Jibek. This was the father of the famous Aiteke Bi. His real name was Aitek. Studying the genealogy, the scientist found out that the outstanding Batur Zhalantos Bahadur was the brother of his grandfather Aiteke Bi. The poet and musician Segi Seri said, "Be eloquent as Anat Bi from the Tobukti tribe. Have many famous ancestors like Aiteke Bi from the junior Jew." These words confirm that Aiteke Bi was indeed a descendant of prominent personalities. Already during his lifetime, they called him a saint person, and grandfather Aksha ruled Kokand. Father Jibek was a famous Bi in the district, and uncle of Zhalantos Bahadur's father was the Emir of Samarkand. Moreover, the distant ancestors of Aiteke Bi were even more famous. They were wise thinkers of the great steppe. For example, people told legends about the oratory skill of his grandfather in the 5th generation, Oraz Kaji. One of them is connected with his actions at the celebration of the sons of Shomike Aspan Yesimbet.
Yesimbet atamız үлкен бір той береді. Бұл 1354 жылы. 1354 жылы. Үлкен той, мына шеті Шымкент, Ташкент,
There was a great celebration at Yesimbet's house. This was in 1354. The guests arrived from Shymkent, Tashkent, Kizlorda, Tortkol, Bukhara, Khwarezm, Samarkand. A close friend of Yesimbet Nogai, who went to the land of the Arab and bought 25 slaves, also attended the festival and gave these slaves to his friend Yesimbet.
Есімбет бабаның тойының үстінен шығады. Сонда жаңағы Ноғай достым, мынау достым, сенің тойыңа мынау шашуым деп 25 құлды Есімбет бабаға береді екен жаңағы Ноғай досты.
This is a special gift. On the one hand, they could be dangerous. No one could guarantee that they did not pose a danger to the state. Having considered all this, Yesimbet decided to consult with the Aksakals of the village. As a result of the meeting, it was decided to arrange a competition, a foot race. The main prize for the winner was 25 slaves.
бәйге жібереміз деп жатқан кезде Әмір Темір тойдың үстіне жолдастарымен келіп қалады. Ол кезде Әмір Темір 36 болса, 54-те.
Young Emir Temir arrived with friends prior to the start of the race. He was 18 years old. Having seen the race, Temir joined the contest. Almost immediately, he left all competitors behind. There were only two guys ahead, one of them Khwarezm, the other from Bukhara. Realizing that they had a worthy opponent who was about to get ahead of them, they agreed in any case not to let him win. No matter how hard the Emir tried to go forward, everything was in vain. And right before the finish, realizing that all his attempts didn't work, he picked up his skull cap, put the knife in it, and threw it to the finish. As a result, Temir's headdress crossed the finish line first.
Мәреге жақындаған кезде атады, лақтырады. Тақиясы ана екеуінің алдын бар мәресізгін кесіп барып түседі ғой.
However, following the results of the competition, the first and second places were given to the fast walkers of Khwarezm and Bukhara. But Temir did not agree with this decision and demanded Bi to reason the dispute. Great-grandfather of Aiteke Bi in the 5th generation, Oraz Kaji, was the most influential in this region at that time.
Sonda Әмір Темір былай деген екен, торы ата, мен аяғым сау болғанда бұларға шаңымды көрсетпес едім, бірақ
Emir Temir, in his speech, said, "If my leg was healthy, you would not even see dust behind me. But since the rivals did not let me pass, I had to throw my headdress forward, and it was first to cross the finish line. It is a fact. I think all this is important to consider. In addition, I know what to do with these slaves. And for this, I think one also needs a head."
мен пайдаланудың ретін білем, ертең рет жерге пайданы аламын. Мына алған адамдарымыз бұны қаяққа пайдаланады? Бұған да бас керек.
Oraz Kaji, after hearing the arguments of the parties, came to a decision that it would be fair if the main prize would go to the true winner. As a result, the limping Temir received the slaves as a prize. Resourcefulness, firmness, and confidence of the winner decided the dispute in his favor. Oraz Kaji felt that his young man would become a great commander and statesman. Temir, together with his friends and 25 slaves, went to the mountains. There he trained, honed his military skills. Later he captured Shahrisabz and his district, then Samarkand, and became the emir. He conquered half the world, Turkey, the Caucasus, part of Russia. After Temir became the ruler, he came to Oraz Kaji and invited him to become an advisor.
Oraz Қажыға келген екен, ақсақал менің оң қолым боласыз, менің жерде ақылшым боласыз, жүріңіз деп.
Subsequently, Emir Temir came to Oraz Kaji Bi ahead of each campaign to receive a blessing. It is difficult to call this evidence, but nevertheless, some scholars attach great importance to the genealogy of such sages. That is, having such an origin, Aiteke Bi had to become noble, fair, and wise. He was like his great-grandfather, along with the Kazakhs, other Turkic peoples, Uzbeks, Karakalpaks, and Turkmen came to him for advice, for a wise decision. In 25 years, he already resolved disputes, and in 30 years, he was the supreme Bi of the junior Jews. There were no courts, no prosecutors. All decisions were made by Bi, and people respected and obeyed his decision. Aiteke Bi has absorbed the sense of justice, with centuries of experience of these special-minded people capable of stopping wars in one word and solving other equally important issues. From childhood, he was a bright boy who studied with the clerics of the village. From the age of 7, he was close to his grandfather, who often put the Khan's chapan on him. Little Aiteke saw and heard how disputes were resolved, the fate of the people was decided, and agreement was reached about peace or vice versa about the start of war. He was next to the outstanding Zhalantos Bahadur, saw his wisdom. At religious schools in Bukhara, he studied Arabic and Persian. In Sherdor Madrasa, he learned the basics of philosophy. Then, in the Mir Arab Madrasa in Bukhara, he studied Eastern tactics of government, as well as the military strategy of the Emir Temir.
тек діни тәлім емес, сол кезде мына географияда.
This is a man who possessed not only religious knowledge, he was very educated in geography, literature, history. He was one of the most educated people of his era. This is an unconditional talent. The people knew him as an educated and wise person, and therefore elected the supreme being.
Осы өңірде төбе би сайлады бұл.
According to historians, Aiteke Bi was a statesman who considered the strengthening of solidarity and power of the Kazakh Khanate as a main goal. He initiated to equip the Kazakh army with fire weapons, cannons and guns, staffing the army with special detachments from the most trained and experienced soldiers. These initiatives were supported by Aiteke Khan. However, there were those who acted on the principle of divide and conquer. Such khans and sultans in every way impeded the movement forward. Time has shown how necessary his proposals were, especially during the bloody battles with the Jungars. He was so angry and at the same time powerless to do anything that sometimes he even wanted to commit suicide. He was so disappointed that he left all his affairs as a military commander and left for his homeland. After Salkam Jangir, the power in the Kazakh Khanate was to be transferred to his eldest sons Joly and Baki. However, the younger brother Aiteke was elected Khan. That was the decision of the Board of Bees. One of the active participants of this council was Aiteke Bi. After the ascension to the throne of Aiteke Khan, a Khan council, endowed with special rights, has appeared. Aiteke Bi represented the junior Jews. To maintain stability in the state, a proposal was made to develop a new draft law. Thus, in 1684, a code of laws, Jati Jargi, appeared. The author of 2 articles that were included in the compilation was Aiteke Bi. They were called Suya Kuni and Onyar Kuni. Of course, these are only facts that are known to us. Perhaps there were other important initiatives and issues that were solved thanks to the wisdom of Aiteke Bi. Aiteke Bi was not only a talented bee able to make fair decisions to find a decent way of any difficult situations. He also had excellent warrior skills and mastered all the weapons available at the time. Once a Jungarian military leader named Kaldan Boshak with a 10,000 army made a raid on an area called Nurata. He was opposed by Aiteke Bi with only 5,000 warriors. In this war, the city of Sairam was destroyed and the annual council, which was held in Kultube, was cancelled. But the Khan's council was organized in Karakum and in the region of Turkestan. At that meeting, Aiteke delivered a speech where he proposed a serious reform of the army. It was supposed to strengthen its power, defense, and borders of the Khanate. It was also initiated to appoint general military leader, subordinated only to the Khan Council, to manage the united Kazakh army. In addition, Aiteke Bi proposed to raise the level of commanders in Europe, China, and Russia. Our troops should be on the border. Villages with a lot of livestock should be concentrated in the central regions. As in troubled times, they provide the army with food, horses and camels, and everything necessary. What are the features of the Great Steps policy is a democracy. One of the indicators undoubtedly can be called the Bee Institute. In the Kazakh society, the Khans did not have absolute power. They solved all important issues concerning the state, consulting with the bees. It must be said that not only Aksakals, but also intelligent and talented representatives of the younger generation were bees. Aiteke was 25 years old when he acted as a bee. According to scientists, the Bee Institute still requires careful study. After the city of Nurata, the caravan of the scientific expedition trails of nomads headed to the Autonomous Republic of Karakalpakstan. Scientists have to study a lot of exhibits and historical monuments relating to our ancestors there. We will tell you about this in the next episode.